So sometimes I feel like when people don't want to put in the work, it is because of the preconceived notion that it is got to be hard, it's got to be painful. But I don't believe that's true.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Exploring You, our podcast to guide you through the personal development jungle. I almost forgot where we were going. My name's Darren Siegenberg. I'm the CEO of Mind Course EIC and Elysium NLP.
And I'm Alexandra Katzer, nature coach and forest bathing guide.
And we have two very special guests today, some very good friends of mine, Pete Sutton and Elaine Lo.
Good morning.
Otherwise known as PETLO, aren't you? Or something like that?
It can be, or low pet, whatever you like.
PETLO it is.
It is, yeah.
Thank you, Darren.
The dynamic duo, that's all I can say.
Certainly a duo anyway, yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us today. And I always enjoy your company, I really do. So to start off with, who are you?
Elaine, who are you?
Oh, me.
Yeah.
I am a personal development trainer, corporate trainer, and a coach. And an author as well with you.
Oh,
Self-help author.
what did you write?
A book that is called 8 Recipes for Life.
And
It is really
there
great.
it
Darren
is.
has got a copy because we haven't got a copy with us. Yeah, that's a boy, yeah.
And
If
it was
would-
even signed. Even signed.
Oh, very good.
Very
and if
nice.
anybody would like a copy, we've got loads of them. I assure you.
Pete, who are you then?
I'm Pete Sutton. I had a long corporate career, and then I got kind of discovered NLP, and that changed my life really. I guess we'll probably get onto that. But as a result of that, I've done quite a lot of, I've delivered therapy and quite a lot of coaching, as well as a lot of corporate training. So that's kind of my background.
Brilliant. Yeah, and that's where we've kind of met, isn't it? Myself, you were one of my first trainers back in Manchester, doing the hypnosis and the arm levitation, if I've got that right. And
You see what I did there? Yeah.
Elaine, we met again through the NLP training, and then we.
Is that arm levitation?
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry about that.
I wish Darren would concentrate on this, don't you?
I tell you, I don't know what it is. Hang on, I've lost you now for a second.
We were doing hand levitation. Yeah.
I noticed
we first
that,
met. Yeah, I was your trainer in Manchester.
You were, and Elaine was. We met through when I was doing some of the coaching on the NLP courses.
Yeah.
And we were all together on our trainers training.
Yes.
And Pete was an instructor on there.
And that was about 10 years ago this summer.
Yeah.
This September.
Yeah, this September, 10 years ago.
Absolutely. 10 years.
Wow.
It's crazy. Where have you developed from the NLP side of things? Where do you think you've moved on from?
Well, for me, there's been two main things really. I kind of held NLP in a particular place, and it wasn't quite well enough researched or known about, and there was some good stuff in it, but I couldn't quite devote myself to it because I felt it was a little bit flaky really. So I did a master's qualification in clinical hypnotherapy, and that really involved doing quite a lot of research, doing a lot of clinical hours with people, kind of monitoring you and coaching. So I felt that was, so there's the clinical hypnosis part and therapy, and especially timeline therapy, which we'll probably come back to, which is one of the things that I did take from NLP. So I've taken the stuff that works kind of for me, and I feel as though I can be authentic about it when I'm using those techniques with other people. So there's that stuff. And then there is the corporate training, and both Elaine and I, shortly after, about the same time as NLP trainers training, we became trainers for the Dale Carnegie Company, which is a worldwide franchise, which is pretty much corporate, because the big difference in terms of money stuff is that the NLP people, you've got a whole bunch of people that come to the class and basically they're paid for themselves. So they're individuals paying for their own development. Whereas in general, Dale Carnegie's stuff is corporates paying for their employees to come. So it's a different thing, and we've both done quite a bit of both now.
It's interesting you bring that up because somebody, Kim Blackmore, who you know as well, Kim was on one of the shows, and I was talking to her the other week on another conversation, and she was saying that the International Coaching Federation, the ICF, would put out this survey where it says something like only 7% of people have said that coaching actually works. For me, and this is just my perception of it, is that maybe without looking at the details, but I find that people are not receptive to coaching because they don't want to put the effort in. And it's interesting how you say where your coaching is, you're doing the two separate things. The corporate one is where it's getting paid for you, and you've got those that will pay for their own training. Do you see a difference with those kind of groups?
Yes. 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 So with corporate clients, it really depends on the organization culture and whether people signed up to the training. Sometimes it's something that the organization offers for free for them, and they sign up to attend the training and they really appreciate it, or they get nominated because they're good. So they appreciate the opportunities. And sometimes people get sent onto courses that they don't want to attend, and you get more difficult people. And for people who pay for themselves, they are always quite motivated, I'd say. Always. Yeah. Different dynamics. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is that people who come on courses, we very often coach them in the moment on courses. You know, we ask them questions to kind of expand their vision of where they could be and what they could do. And that is definitely coaching, and it definitely has value, but it's nothing to do with a coaching agreement, a coachee agreement. It's something that happens in a training room, but no one's ever signed up to it. And those people probably would never have been asked, has coaching helped you or not? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And the other thing is, you know, from, you know, Kim's perspective, especially from the kind of side of NLP on what she does now and what we've done in the past, is that, you know, we are, because people are paying for themselves, they might be more motivated, although I'm not sure. But the other thing is that we get the opportunity to decide whether the person's going to make it work with our help or not. I think perhaps with some corporate programs, they're going to be coached whether they like it or not. So, you know, if the company spent the money, it's not common for us to be able to say, well, you know, we've done some conversations and we don't think that person really is in it for success or whatever else it is. So perhaps we don't get to ask those questions up front. But yeah, just that really.
Yeah.
Kind of answers it. It's just it's for me is people, you know, it's how much, if they want to change, how much do they want to develop? You know, you've got to put the effort in. And does it mean that, you know, you're having to, I mean, the other side of things, I think, as well, is that people, whether it's the economic climate, people won't pay for the training because, you know, they've either got other things they've got to pay for or something else. So, you know, it's two sides. It's either they're not putting the effort in or they're not paying for it.
Yeah, and to use a well-tried, you know, NLP phrase, you know, are they at cause? In other words, are they kind of owning the fact that they're going to have to make progress and make some changes? Because with the best will in the world, you know, coaching is a do with process. You know, I can't do it to you and change you. It's got to be something where we have a conversation together where the coachee is encouraged to use their resources to make progress. But if they don't want to own that part of the responsibility, then we're not really going to get very far with it. And that's the kind of conversation that we would have before we embark on it, because we need to think that the coachee is going to make progress, and they need to look at us and think that we can help them do that. And if either of those isn't true, we should, just walk away from it and say we're not the right people to work together.
Yeah, you've got to put the effort in, haven't you?
Yeah, and I think that some people they just don't want to do that. They want to be changed.
Yeah, they want to be fixed.
Mm.
There is something that I feel very, very passionate about. I do believe in taking ownership and being at cost to take charge of your life, really. That's how we create change. But there is a common belief out there which I do not buy, which is that change has got to be painful, effort has got to be hard work. I don't believe that. I believe change could happen easily. And sometimes it's often a decision, a decision from the mind, on an attitudinal level. And that is the biggest fuel that would bring us that change we want. And that does not need to be painful. So sometimes I feel like when people don't want to put in the work, it is because of the preconceived notion that it's got to be hard, it's got to be painful. But I don't believe that's true. It's just about making a decision for ourselves to take full ownership of our lives.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to somebody the other week, and they were talking about losing weight and getting exercise. And I gave them an example of I seen something online. It was a 5-minute fat burning exercise. It was 3 exercises. You do 30 seconds each, just 3 different exercises. And they looked at it and they went, I can't do that. That's too hard. That's hard. Well, you're not going to change just by going, yeah, I'll just do the odd press up or the sit up when I get out of bed. You've got to do something to make the change. And no matter how hard it is always going to be hard. It makes no difference. But if you're going to want to change, you have to put the effort in. Why can't
you? And often when we make a decision that we really want to change, then there are lots of different options, and there will be some options that work for us. I mean, if that thing that doesn't work for them, if they truly want it, there will be another option that works for them, which is less painful, which is more acceptable for them.
Yeah, I guess I might interrogate them slightly differently. I mean, taking all of that into account, if it's 3 lots of 30 seconds and that they can physically do it, it is their choice to decide it's too hard and too difficult.
Yeah.
And potentially what we can do is have a conversation about why you've labeled it, in that way. Why have you decided it's too hard, too much?
Yeah.
I like that you mention it. We talk about it. Why is it so hard? Because I come from a trauma sensitive perspective. And when you have trauma, maybe in that moment where you say it's too hard, it's a rejected or hurt part taking over saying that, and it's not yourself that is willing to make the change. So I like that you just mentioned, okay, let's find out why is it so challenging for you to make that change. I think that's a very good approach.
Yeah, and certainly because we've got the NLP and the corporate stuff going on, we're just actually doing another coaching qualification at the moment, but based on the coactive coaching techniques. And those very much include a little bit of almost woo-woo stuff in a corporate sense. So it is kind of saying, in terms of process, what's going on at an unconscious level. So it's not just about the stuff that you present with that's conscious and it and I know it and we can both see it. It's also recognizing the stuff that's in the room that people very often don't think they're going to vocalize in a corporate situation.
Yeah.
What's the
powerful unconscious mind, right?
Yeah,
the powerful
absolutely.
Unconscious mind.
Yeah.
This it is all in the mind, clearly. When somebody who did this looked at this exercise, they actually looked at the video and said, well, even he's puffing and blowing. He's the instructor who's built like a brick wall and got the 6-pack and everything else, and he's struggling to do it. Well, yeah, but he's doing it. That's the thing. He's putting the effort in to show you what he's doing. It's all in the mindset. You've already lost if your mind's not in it already.
Yeah. Or you might say to them, how much less could you do to make it comfortable for yourself?
Yeah, I did say it was just you take your time. You're
Yeah.
not expected to do that level straight away. Straight away, you're thinking, well, I have to lift 500 kilos or something. You're talking silly. You know, you're not expected to do that. You do it as a gradual thing. At the peak of when I was doing a massive fitness thing, about 10 years ago, I used to go out for a run. Now, back in the day, I'd go for a 6 mile, 7 mile, no problem. But at 45, I couldn't do that at that time. So I went out for a 2 mile walk, 2 mile run, and I ended up walking a mile of it most of the time because I was too knackered. But as you build it up and build it up, within a couple of months, I went out for a run and I didn't come back for an hour and a half later. And I constantly ran for 13 and a half miles, about 13 miles.
I thought you were going to say you sat in the pub for 2 hours. Yeah.
Well, it did. I'd just like to say I'd like to thank the taxi driver, the bus driver,
Yeah,
the lorry driver who gave me a lift around. So
absolutely.
You mentioned about you're an author as well, showing the book 8 Recipes for Life. Tell us about that.
It is a self-help book which includes 8 recipes for life to help readers live a more fulfilling, satisfied, and happier life. Because I think happiness is really important, and we're all going for, and happiness does not mean instant gratification. That's often in the way of true happiness. I think most people are feeling that there is something more to life and they want more fulfillment. So that book, which was published in 2019, so 5 years ago, it's got 8 simple lessons to help people be happier, you know, live a more intentional life where they are happier and more fulfilled.
But isn't happiness like a state of mind? You know, we can all be happy at some point. What's the reason, you know, why should somebody buy your book in order to be happy?
Well, I think that as well as happiness, it's also about, I think it's all about fulfillment as well. So you could say that happiness is like a temperature check, but I think fulfillment is more about a longer period. It's your state in life, if you like. Would you agree that it's about fulfillment?
Yeah,
as well?
yeah, because the subtitle of the book is Find Your Fulfillment. So it is.
I've forgotten that.
I was reading it. I was reading it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I don't know. I feel like happiness is something that a lot of people are looking for. Not everyone feels happy, and probably most people feel like they could be happier. So even though that is something that sounds really simple, maybe lots of people actually want to be happier. And how do you become happy? It is a state of mind. And sometimes we can get some ideas that could help us achieve that could help us get into that state of mind more easily.
Okay.
Just one question. How do you define fulfillment? I'm curious. What's the base for the book to say this is fulfillment, or how do you define that?
It is very difficult to define. So if I think about the content of the book it's got there's actually a diagram in it, how the lessons are related to each other. There is logical bit, there is emotional bit, and there is, I don't know, a spiritual bit or something like that. I don't really remember very clearly because it was published 5 years ago. Chapter 1 is about comfort and fulfillment. Was it about comfort and fulfillment?
Yeah.
I think it's about comfort and fulfillment. And there is a matrix there, because we talk about stepping out as trainers. We talk about stepping outside of your comfort zone very, very often. And yet, what I love comfort. I'm a trainer. I push people to step outside of the comfort zone often, but I love comfort. And I see, of course it's good, right? Comfortable. Why not, right? That's why we sit on a cushion on a chair. That's why, because of comfort. But there is something that the thing about comfort zone is very often we could be inside a comfort zone that is uncomfortable, that makes us unhappy. For example, being stuck in an unfulfilling relationship. The reason we don't leave it is because it is still our comfort zone. And that is where I find there is a real problem, and it is getting in the way of fulfillment. So speaking about comfort zone and expansion and all that, if we are truly happy or truly fulfilled within our comfort zone, yeah, why not then? Why not then? But if we are in that space where we feel, no, I want more with my life, I'm actually not very comfortable, even though I'm stuck inside my comfort zone, that is a time for change. And then there is also bits about what we tell ourselves, like self-talk. If we think about fulfillment, and Bruce Farrell, our late NLP trainer, he used to say that it's like, you know, when you've got two parts within yourself that are fighting against each other, it is like having a roommate living with you 24/7, arguing with you all the time, because it's yourself fighting against yourself. So how we talk to ourselves, that is a huge thing, and that definitely makes our success, or gets in the way of our success and our happiness and our fulfillment. So there is this bit about how we talk to ourselves, and I really like this model. I'll call it the dotted line theory. It is so when we know that we've got certain weaknesses, how do we frame it in our own mind? Do we say to ourselves that, yes, I'm lazy? Or do we say to ourselves, I've got the tendency to put things off every now and then? Because one is about our identity. The other is about something that we do, you know, that's a behavior or a tendency, which is much more changeable. And it's the only difference is how we talk to ourselves. And that helps us grow or makes us stuck in a vicious cycle. So a lot of like small things that we could do to help us become more fulfilled. And I haven't really answered your question, because my initial answer to your question is I don't know how to define that. But I think one really, don't know what the relevance is, but when we're growing, we definitely feel fulfilled. And when we stop growing, we probably feel like, am I still fulfilled? So maybe the answer is growth.
I mean,
I like it what you mentioned. Yeah, because fulfillment, it could mean different things for different people, but I like your explanation.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, a lot of people will have seen this. You know, I don't know if you can see that, but yeah. So, you know, the kind of wheel of life where there are different areas, and they might be work, relationships, spiritual, money, lots of others as well. But typically what we do in the wheel of life is we measure one's satisfaction in those areas. Well, if you can work on them and expand our satisfaction in all of the areas, if we could, I reckon that pretty much adds up to fulfillment. If you can balance that stuff up and get satisfaction in, for example, work, spiritual, financial, and personal relationships, if you could do that, it's a pretty good way of thinking about where do I want to apply some change, and where do I want to make some advances.
And I'm just thinking about, from my coactive coaching training, there is one principle called fulfillment, and what they do in there's a lot of different stuff, but one big chunk is about values. So whether we are living a life that is aligned with our values, because we've got different values and they're really important for us. And probably when people are living a life that maybe some of the areas where they find is in violation of their values, then they probably don't feel fulfilled. So maybe another thing is that we want to really make sure that we are creating, we're carving, we're planning, we are running our lives in a way that is aligned with our values.
Agreed. Yeah.
Brilliant.
No, I mean, some of the biggest areas of conflict, even corporately, in fact, specifically, you know, is where there are values conflicts, where your boss absolutely believes in results, and you might believe in fairness, for example. When those two things come together, and one person absolutely believes I've got to achieve regardless, and the other says, but there's a price and it's got to be fair. It's very difficult for those people to work together on objectives that they both feel fulfilled about.
Yeah, there is that clash, isn't there? And I think we touched that with Rob Whitfield on another one, that on another podcast. He was talking about the meetings when you've got the quiet person in the room, and how difficult it is for them to be open in a meeting when you've got those others who are stronger characters, or have their values are above everybody else's. Do you have that in your training as well?
I mean, I think there's two different things there. One is values, and one is how forceful people are in a room. I mean, one of the things that increasingly we talk about now in the training room is how to, with leaders, with new leaders, is how to provide an atmosphere of psychological safety, so that those people who don't feel as though they can put forward a point of view become included in the conversation, and that it's a real leadership quality that needs to be brought out more.
Yeah, we've. I mean, I was on one of your training courses last year. I can't believe it was actually this. It was this time last year, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
No, I think it was 2 years ago.
No, it was 2 years ago. You're right. Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
time flies.
Wow, crikey. 10 years
That's the
for our
power of our
training.
training. It only seems like 12 months ago.
Still stuck in my mind, Pete. Still stuck in my mind. What was the training course again?
I don't know how we called it, but it was leadership training.
So we were being certified as leadership trainers, and we got some people to come along. Thank you very much, as guinea pigs, so that we could be tested. We were watched delivering our pieces of it.
We were being evaluated. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you use that now? Are you doing the same training in your corporate training?
Yeah, because we were being evaluated, so we could go out and do it unsupervised. Yeah.
Right. And what's the reception you get when you're doing those courses?
I did one in January. It was really great. It was, I do feel like we have got very good participants, though. I do feel like the most important thing in a successful training is a group of people. So if you're working with a nice open-minded group of people, then it is going to be successful. So I was lucky enough. I had it was a small group, a group of 8. All of them, 8 or 9, 8, I think. Anyway, doesn't really matter. They were all open-minded. They were all up for it. They were open and willing to share and up for, looking at where they are open to suggestion, to step up, talking about stepping outside of the comfort zone to create that growth and that expansion. They're up for it. It was very well received. That was a very nice training experience. Why did you ask?
Brilliant.
Have we got? Yeah.
It's just interesting because it's again. Are we still on? Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked because it's interesting the different types of people we meet. Again, it's going back to where you're getting that involvement with people. Is there times where you get people that are challenging you, or are they more challenging for themselves?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I think generally when people are challenging, they're normally pushing back on being on a course, being developed. Some people see it. I wouldn't. Well, when I say I wouldn't exactly say, that means I would exactly say. I mean, some people see it as a bit of a punishment. I'm here to learn stuff because I'm not good enough at the moment, kind of thing. But we do a lot of stuff on the courses, on the corporate courses, about contextualizing the value for each person and them deciding what they want out of it. So actually, there isn't very much pushback at all, really.
I've got one specific example. There's a training I delivered last year in Hong Kong, and for a client, so within the company, and it's a program for general staff, and there was a department head who decided that his managers needed to attend this course for general staff, not meant for leaders, for general staff. And he just decided that, but he hasn't got that level of skills yet, so he needs to attend this. And that guy obviously hated every minute of it. And he was very, very, it was only a half-day training. It was 3 hours. But he was, and if I were him, I probably would have felt exactly the same. That's quite a horrible place to be in, isn't it? Your boss basically telling you you're not good enough, you need this. That was the wrong reason to attend that training, and he was pushing back a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
and understandably.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I got some great.
I was going to say, how was he at the end? How was he at the end?
Oh, I saw the evaluation, and there was one that said it's just a complete waste of time. The company should not be forcing us to attend. I bet it was from him, and I understand. If I were him, I probably would have behaved the same way. So you know, the maybe the conclusion is that in order for things to work, there are all the parties need to be aligned, and there are different ways of communicating the same thing to make it empowering instead of like a punishment.
Well, actually, I've got quite a nice example. So about a month ago, I was delivering a corporate program, and I can't give any details of where or why, but to cut a long story short, the people on it, they were great people, and they knew that their senior managers were not going to take the program. So they were being asked to do something and go somewhere where their senior manager, you know, they weren't doing it, but they were meant to do it, but they were all pulling out. As each program came, the senior managers kind of decided not to do it. And Elaine's absolutely right. It depends, you know, really on the frame that you use. And I said to them, look, you know, let's take these 3 days, which we're never going to get back again. Let's take them as personal development and take away for ourselves as many tools and techniques as we can, that whether or not we stay at this company or go to another one, they will always be valuable. So let's, you know, take what we can for ourselves right now. And for most of them, that actually landed quite well, and it did the trick, and people got on the bus, and we, you know, enjoyed the 3 days.
Yeah, I think that's key, isn't it? Is getting that message across and say use it for your own advantage. You know, it's your own personal development. You know, forget everybody else. If they want to drop out, that's their loss. You know, a lot of these senior managers will come up with these ideas. Let's get everybody on training. We'll do it as well. And when it comes around to it, they start dropping off. I've seen it myself so many times. And I was in one training. I was doing a workshop, and there was 2 guys in it. They didn't want to be there. They were coming up with things, and even one of them, another member, has said, you know, it's a great workshop. It's a shame the other people aren't getting involved in it. So everybody else could see where they were being, you know, they were pulling back on everything. But at the end of the workshop, they came up to me and said, it wasn't what they expected, really appreciated, thanks very much. And we got great feedback from it. So it is about your mindset and saying, you know, this changing the dynamics and the communication that we use, and saying to someone, forget everybody else, do it for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, this is for you, and for, you know, you could take it, like you say, you could take it somewhere else. And, you know, that's the company's loss then, because they paid for the training, but you've developed your team to then go on to another company and benefit that other company. Then it may be your competitor.
Yeah.
And I think that is a really empowering mindset to have as well. Always just do it for yourself. Always, always. This is your life that you're living. This is my life that I'm living. If I just decide to create value for myself, then that is me benefiting from it, right? I find Absolutely. That a very, very empowering mindset to have.
I'd like to get back to the point of happiness, and I really like to get your take on it. Do you feel happiness is a bit overrated, that everyone is just striving for happiness and trying to disregard the negative emotions that we also need to grow?
Oh, right. Okay. I think positive thinking has been misunderstood a lot. So I believe to be truly happy, you do not disregard your negative feelings. You face them, you deal with them, you release them. It's part of life. It's part of life, and it's not about faking. If it's faking happiness, it's not real happiness. I believe real happiness is not overrated, but you know, a lot of misunderstanding around positive thinking is causing problems, because we don't want to be suppressing any feelings that's just going to cause problems.
Yeah.
I was just having a thought. So I've just had a thought of something that I've never thought before. So on corporate programs, we quite often talk about the thing that came from COVID, which was emotional bank account, where you have an account with everybody that you meet or know, where the currency is goodwill, and you put things in and you take things out of the account. But it's just occurred to me, having that conversation, that we kind of have that account with ourselves as well, where we have positive things and negative things emotionally that coexist, and perhaps happiness is where the sum of the positives are more than the sum of the negatives. So you kind of accept that there are some negative stuff. You know, if you're currently dealing with a life-threatening illness, for example, is it possible to be overall happy? I would say that it is, and I've been there. So I think that you can hold on to the things which make you happy, and hold in a different but similar space the things that are against that. Yeah. And perhaps it has to do with how much we value those things. And you know, and my experience of all of that is that I'm more inclined to say yes to things now and build up the happiness than I am to dwell on the negative side.
The other day, I actually read somewhere that you need 5 positive thoughts to outweigh 1 negative thinking to recalibrate your brain or something. And I thought, oh wow, that's interesting. So I feel that's why it's so important to have this gratitude journal, or just always realize all the things you can be grateful for.
However, that makes the assumption that every thought is the similar currency. If you have one great positive thought and one small, it does though, doesn't it? It does make that assumption.
Very logical, Pete. Very logical.
Sorry.
I knew it as 3. I knew it as 3 positives, not 5. But yeah, I don't want to work that hard.
Yeah, well, they know that where you live, Darren, 3 is probably about as many as you're going to get in a day, really, don't they? No offense.
It's a struggle. It's a struggle to find the 1, let alone the 3. But it's you. Can I touch on what your experience, Pete?
Yeah.
You say, you know, if you don't mind. I mean, can you elaborate a little bit more with what you're meaning from your experience there?
Oh, I mean, I was diagnosed with skin cancer in 2011, and in 2014 I got a lump in my neck, and I was told I got about a 50% chance of living 5 years, and I had a 10 or 11-hour operation to remove this melanoma from my neck, and it could come back. I mean, the way it happens is that it could come back at any time, but I don't really believe that that's going to be the case, and B, you've got to do stuff in the meantime as if it's not the case. You can't live with that as a sentence. So, you know, I'm very lucky I didn't have to have radiotherapy or chemotherapy. It was what they call radical surgery, but you know, I'm past that now. And in fact, when I saw you on NLP Trainers Training, I just had that big operation. I was so 6 months after it. So for me, I've just realized for me, next month is the 10-year anniversary of that operation, actually. So, and overall, I think it's a useful experience to have had, because when people say, you know, you don't know how I feel, there are some occasions where I can say, well, actually, yeah, I do. But you know, people recognized in me that I'm more likely to say yes to things, have a go at stuff that I wouldn't have done before.
What do you think that adds to your fulfillment, saying yes to things that you wouldn't have?
Yes. And actually, in the moment, I was just thinking, you say yes to some things that you don't enjoy particularly, but I think that still adds to your fulfillment, because you've had a go and you've made a choice. But if you've never done it and never made the choice, then I don't think that's the thing that's not very fulfilling.
And that's the thing about comfort zone as well. You know, in our mind, it is scary to do that expansion, and yeah, when we just decide to take that step, it's actually not that horrible, not that painful, and we feel expanded, we feel more fulfilled. So that is, I guess, that's a paradox about comfort zone, which so many people talk about, because it does add to our growth and for our fulfillment.
Is that the reason why you do so much training for yourselves, your own person? I mean, you could be termed a course junkies at the end of the day, because you, Elaine, have done so much. I've seen your CV.
I am.
You know, You are, of course. But where's the fulfill? Is it the fulfillment you get from doing training and that personal development, or is it you're never ever going to be fulfilled and you just want to carry on?
Oh, interesting, interesting. I believe it is not an end. I don't think it's a destination. I think as cliche as it sounds, I believe it's a journey. And it's a journey of fulfillment, and it's a journey of growth. And the beauty is that there is no end, because there is never perfection. It's always an ongoing journey, which is a happy thing. Because if you think about it, if there's a destination, the top of the hill, on top of the mountain, I have reached it. Where am I going next? It is so great that it's a journey and there is no end to it. And as a personal development junkie, yes, I am one. Sometimes I don't do that because I feel like I'm not good enough. I don't do that because I feel I need it. I'm not good enough. I do that because I enjoy it. And sometimes there are triggers that reminds me, okay, now I need some of that. So for example, currently I'm launching a business, and last year at about May time, I was trying to find a manufacturing partner to work with, and there is one manufacturing partner I really wanted to work with, and they said no to me after a period of communication, and I was just, my heart sank. I really wanted to work with them. And then I realized, actually, you know what? Part of the reason they said no to me is because of me, is because of how I was communicating with them. I lacked confidence when I was talking to them. I was talking that fast just in case I was wasting their time. I don't want to be working with a person like that. Why would they want to work with a person like that? So that was a moment, that was a trigger. I probably could benefit from some personal development right now. So sometimes, there are real triggers. Okay, time to grow, time to expand. And sometimes it's just, okay, why not? I mean,
and also it doesn't have to be about learning more as such. It can be about getting different perspectives. So, I mean, I deliver a lot of training, and have delivered over the last 10 years, a lot of training in Saudi Arabia, which is a totally different kind of culture from the one that we're in. And that is really valuable. And when, we hear debates now about, we've just got to the end of Ramadan and should we be celebrating it in the UK and all of this, I feel as I've got a more balanced idea of what the answer to that question might be from having, been there quite a lot and seen them in operation, so to speak.
It's once again, it's the expansion of having different experiences, which I believe life is all about, having different experiences. And once you try something new, that is growth, that is fulfillment, that is expansion.
Apologies, I was just getting notifications, trying to cut notifications off so I don't get interrupted.
Well, that worked well then.
Yeah, I know it keeps popping up. It's just over here. So my apologies about that. Pete, first of all, it's great that, since the op, you're still here, which is fantastic.
I'm liking
I
it.
always enjoy I always enjoy the dynamics you two have and bring. Even when we just go meet up for a meal or something like that. Your enthusiasm is infectious, to say the least, I think. And I can see that surely in your corporate training and how, I mean, you've been my trainer as well as a friend, and I see those dynamics all the way through, and how people can grow under your your tuition. One thing I want to find is the tipping point. What small changes do you see that to make people progress? When we talk about the tipping point by the book, we're talking about the small little changes. Do you aim at that to help people grow?
Well, I'd be interested because, both Alexandra and you and Elaine have, all been in a therapeutic setting as well as training settings. And I think a lot of this really starts with, from our perspective, our intent. And, if you believe that, well, for a start, if you remove your ego from it pretty much, and if you believe that the people that you're working with can be great, then you give them the opportunity to be. you know, if you go into training and thinking this is going to be hard work, I've got to make sure these people get this message regardless of whether they want to. You may as well not bother to even walk into the room, really. It's the same with therapy, I think, as well. You know, it starts with intention.
Yeah.
And once you, you know, we're just doing this coaching course at the moment, and I'm pretty certain we're going to find a similar thing. You know, we've got to be honestly there for the benefit of the other person, standing by their side, rather than trying to give them the answers so that they can discover them. You know, as we know, even from hypnotherapy, Milton Erickson said, you know, everybody comes to therapy with all the resources they need to basically cure themselves. They've just got to find those things, and that's our job. And I think that's true in the training room. So
I think back to the very beginning, isn't it? The people don't make the effort because they think you've got the answers. They go to a coach, or they'll go to a therapist, or go to a counselor, whichever, and they're looking for that pill to say, take this 3 times a day, you're going to be fine.
Well, you could kind of say to them, well, actually, I have got all the answers. What you need to do is follow this process and discover this stuff for yourself, and I'll be your guide. You know, so my answer is that I'll be your guide, but I cannot.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Okay.
Very.
But I can't live your experience for you as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
unfortunately, we
experience.
all got free will. That's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it's putting it into practice. Any signs of any other books coming out?
It'd be quite nice to do another book, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
what might it be?
I just look at the two going. One's going. Don't say that. Don't say yes.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
I'd quite like to do a trainer's training kind of handbook of all the training stuff that we've come across in all the different areas. Actually,
Nice.
Noise.
Well, thank you.
I
Thank you both.
I like that.
That's a new idea. Thank you both. Yeah.
Because there is a very good book out there, a coaching handbook called The Coaching Handbook. I don't know who, I can't remember who wrote it now.
Lee Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great.
Well, I'd quite like to do a training version of that, I think.
Yes.
Thank you, Darren and Alexandra. Yeah, we've just decided to do
I was
that.
even thinking you could even turn it into an app, seeing as everybody seems to think the phones are going.
Yeah, an app. Yeah.
That's not lending it.
Well, perhaps I've got to open my mind up and think about doing that. But regardless, you need the content before you decide the delivery mechanism.
Yeah.
What's next for you two? So where are you going to in your journey? I know you're doing the course. Where's that going to take you?
For me, I think more coaching. I'd like to start coaching some kind of interesting, difficult to coach people, really.
He likes a challenge all the time.
It would be good. It would be good to do that.
Me, on the other hand, I like easy, open-minded people.
Well, let's face it. You've got another business to run.
I do. My plans. I'm launching a business right now. I can't believe, but life always has a way of surprising you. I'm entering the beauty industry now. So.
And so am I.
I saw the post on Facebook, and I'm thinking, what? Where's this going?
Exactly. But this is quite interesting because when I was going through the coaching thing that I did, we were guided to write our own life purpose statement, and my life purpose statement was, I help people see their beauty. And I still remember my coach was asking me, when you say beauty, what do you mean? Like inner beauty or outer beauty? And I thought at that moment, what a stupid question. Obviously, it's inner beauty. But no, it's not that stupid. It's actually a really great question. And right now, beauty industry, we're selling hair care products. But the main message, which I find really resonates with me a lot, is that we are expressing our inner and outer beauty by being truly ourselves. So that is a piece that I find, okay, I'm still, this all is working out. It's making sense. It's resonating with who I believe I am, and we'll just see where it takes us. Hopefully we'll make some money, because
But
I have got quite an expensive lifestyle.
but we're not using me as the face. We're not using me as the face of hair care products in Hong Kong, are we? 'Cause-
No,
Wasted
you're
on, wasted on me. Wasted on me. Wasted on me. Actually, I did. I was great. I was laughing because I actually saw an advert the other day. It was to be an extra in a new Mad Max promo video, and they were looking for bald guys. So I was quite tempted to apply. Maybe we could be one together. I can just see you on Mad Max, Pete. Just yeah, got that image in my head now.
Strapped to the front of one of those moving vehicles going through the desert, that kind of thing. Yeah, thanks very much, Darren. Yeah. No,
This is where my life has led me.
Yeah, I don't see that in my future somehow. But yeah, thank you anyway.
I don't know. There's room for that. It's interesting about your products though, Elaine, because I did a visualization technique with a group of people once, and it was more about how they looked at themselves at that present moment, what they were wearing and things like that. And then to then go on to thinking you're on your way to an interview and you've got your Sunday best on, or you're going out clothes, and how different you feel just in that. And the response was that they realized the difference in just wearing different clothes or their best clothes, how their personality, how their mindset was different than what it was at that present moment, just sat in jeans and a t-shirt.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that made what you just said made me think about, I don't know whether it was a campaign done by Duff or whatever. So they have got artists does painting on the face, and they've got different subject people who are being, in the experiment, and they were told that the artists are painting horrible stuff on it, like a big mole or whatever, like disfigured face or whatever, and then they would go and they say people treated them differently. And they came back, they realized actually the artists didn't do that. They look exactly the same as they have always been. And it just comes to show what perception is projection. It really is, because we project it out and then we perceive it back, right? So a lot of it, a big part of the kind of life we're living, or all of it, I don't know, I can't say that, is really what we believe, our mindset, what we're projecting out there, the beliefs we have.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Right. On that note, we're going to give you your 5 minutes of fame. So this is going to be, it's going to be where you can tell the world, and I'd say 5 minutes, but I'm sure you can carry on a bit longer with everything that's going on. The floor's yours. Tell us, what's going to go for you, what do you want people to know about you, etc.
Well, all right. So from my point of view, I would love to get some people who would like to be coached. And to be honest, I don't think I need to say very much, because if you've watched this far, if you watch, to this point, you've got some ideas already about, how we are, me and Elaine. And you've probably got an idea of what we stand for. And I think that, hang on, what have we got?
I don't know where that was from.
Oh, there was something in the background going on there. But I believe in fairness and integrity, and people coming to coaching situations with a lot of the answers, and they need somebody who is skilled at helping them to develop where they want to go to increase. And I would say probably for me, it's more about fulfillment than happiness, but whatever that means. And please contact me at www.bearsouls.co.uk. That's bear as in bear and souls as in bottom of feet. So BEARSOLES. And if you want to talk about some cooperative arrangement or paying for coaching, or if you want to say you can't afford it and you'd still like it, I'm open to that kind of conversation. So and we're both available to teach courses, and one of the things we most like to do is communication skills courses, where we both deliver the course together, and we record people on camera and give people coaching on that. So that would be great. And yeah, Elaine is just typing that in my thing into the chat right now. So you could get that.
So that on screen is Pete's email address, pete.sutton@baresouls.co.uk.
So if you think I can help, give me a call. And Elaine, where are you going?
Same for me. I don't need to repeat what you said. Same for me.
Do you want to say anything in Cantonese for your audience for hair care products? Go on, say something to your target audience in Cantonese. We're going to
No, that is like Happy New Year in Cantonese.
tell them that we're going to help them. We're going to help them bring out the waves in their hair.
Go on. I'm not a trained interpreter, that's why I can't do that. Yeah, no, it sounds weird in Cantonese.
Does it?
Yes.
Okay, so what would you tell them in English?
That.
Okay. So we're going to release.
That's all I can do.
Excellent.
Authentic in the
Perfect.
moment.
And we need
Sounds
to
perfect to me.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we should see you, Darren, well soon, except Elaine's just about to go to Hong Kong for 2 weeks to actually do some more work on launching the business.
And other work as well.
Other work.
I was going to ask actually, do you do the training together? Do you I know, because I know a lot of the time you are separate, aren't you? You go worldwide. Which is great. So you do the training together, and I am actually interested in your communication skills training, to be honest with you. Now you've raised it, because it's a big thing for me. So I'll be touching base with you regarding that.
Yeah.
Alexandra, anything from you?
No, it was a lovely chat. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being
So did I.
Nice
here with
meeting
us
you.
today.
Good,
As
you.
always, just like to thank our guests for coming on. It's been brilliant to see you both. Our supporters, we've got Promo Doodle, who do the artist work for advertising for your business. We've got the Professional Bodyguard Association, who do the training, for the SIA training. The Burnley District Motorcycle Group, they're always supporters of our cause, and Mira Gavaccio, who does freelance virtual design. And obviously, any donations for our easy funding page, the Mind Court, and the GoFundMe page would be fantastic to help get our retreat and training centre for men and veterans that are suffering from mental health and to progress with that, to help them. Again, Pete, Elaine, thank you so much. It is honestly, it really is a pleasure to see you both. And I'm looking forward to your next book. And the training, we'll see if we can sort something out about that. And Alexander, as always, it's great to have you to support us with this. As well, we do it together. We do it together. It's without her in the background, I'd be a bit of a loss. she's the technical mind. I can't do that. Thanks.
When did you
So she
decide
makes
that?
When did I decide that? I think I decided it when she agreed to come and do this with me. So.
Very good.
You found your solution.
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Dan. Thanks,
Definitely.
Alexandra.
Thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
both.
See you
Take
soon.
care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye.